finances, investing, estate and retirement planning? Well, I went to school so you don't have to. Welcome to Finances and Prenups. Finances and, in conjunction with my company, Capital Coaching, helps people achieve their financial goals through personal, tailored, attentive financial coaching services. We create successful financial plans by examining your spending and saving habits and then guiding and educating you to personal success. Please contact me at capitalcoaching.net to make an appointment for a free consultation. If you're in love with the person you're marrying, why do you need a prenuptial agreement or a prenup? If you're young and don't have a lot of money or property, you might not need one. But if you have assets that are of a differing value than your new partner, you may want to consider this option. If for no other reason, then it's a time to make decisions when there's minimal emotional feelings. And although not romantic, it can add trust to a relationship. Each state has different laws regarding this agreement, so you'll need to check with your state, but I'll be sharing general information today that will probably apply to most people. We're going to start with where you are married and where you live during the marriage. So you'll need to check with your state, but I'll be sharing general information today, starting with where you get married and where you live during the marriage. Since marriage is actually a contract, it makes sense to have a contract if there was a change, like divorce. Generally, the idea is that everyone gets treated fairly by sharing all of their information into their account information and asset balances. This includes unexpected inheritances, physical property like homes and vehicles, retirement accounts, and other cash value items. These things brought into the marriage are what are off limits generally if you break up. So making sure to properly document what you're bringing into the relationship will make sure that you can take it out as well, and how debt will be handled if you're bringing that in. Prenups, for short, are making sure that assets gained during your marriage are shared properly if need be. This is why each person needs their own attorney, and this will not only make sure that each partner is looked after, if there is a need to actually enact the prenup, then it won't be thrown out due to both parties not being legally represented initially. Eleanor Alter describes a prenup in 3 parts. What happens if you get divorced? Decide what happens if one partner dies, or whether to opt in or out of state inheritance laws. And it can also be about what happens during the marriage. These can, of course, be expensive, but if you fall into one of these categories, you might want to consider it. Those with a lot of family money, or if one partner has a lot of debt. Those with a valuable business or career pre-marriage. Someone who might have been married multiple times with children from the other marriages. If there is a large age difference between partners, you might need one. One bit of advice is to not decide to do this until right before the wedding. This should be done early and put away before the ceremony so that all the festivities and last-minute details of the wedding can be the sole focus of your time. Costs can vary widely, but expect to pay anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000. You may find the online templates, but as always, make sure it covers what you want because both parties should have a lawyer for this. The American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers found 62% of lawyers responding saw a rise in prenups in the past several years. It seems that marriage statistics is what's driving this rise. These documents have had a bad reputation, but they have been around since ancient Egypt. If you love someone, why do you even need it? Well, the reality is that 41% of first marriages end in divorce, 60% of second marriages, and 73% of third. It is fair to believe that the second and third marriages bring their own assets into the relationship, and it makes sense those previous relationships might have children and they want to keep their wealth for them. These also state if alimony may or may not be paid in the event of a divorce, but if it's not addressed, then either of the parties can actually go after that alimony. Prenuptials also make provisions in the event of death. They allow for property to be left to whomever you want it to, as well as the surviving spouse, but they probably won't be cut out entirely. There is no provisions for children's custody or child support in this document, but how finances are split to care for the children can be. Justin Bieber and his wife, Hailey Baldwin, do not have one. And although this is an extreme example, it's true for smaller amounts as well. They both have millions of dollars of net worth. She has $2 million, and his estate is worth about $265 million. But the delta between those two amounts is huge. And that's why a prenup is a good idea to keep the wealth that you came with. If they split equally the $265 million, she clearly gets a better deal. It also forces you to really dig into your hopes and dreams for the future, not just assuming that you're aligned with your new partner. It's also a safe reason to bring up the topic if one partner is not particularly comfortable in doing so. What if you're married and you feel like you need this document now? There are actually post-nuptial agreements. They are options in many states and are effectively the same as a prenuptial, except they go into effect immediately. This may be due to an unexpected but sizable inheritance that's about to be received. Of course, be aware that this could lead to distrust and that that's not a great way to begin a marriage. There are also some states that don't allow prenups, so check before you go too far down that road. Finally, be sure that both of you have attorneys. It should not be an opportunity for one partner to control the other. The Chicago Sun-Times found these crazy clauses lurking in some people's prenuptials: the right to random drug tests, claims on all frequent flyer miles if unfaithful, a bonus of $100,000 each time the spouse is unfaithful, not watching more than one football game on Sunday, not having to go on vacation with their mother-in-law, and they even covered living and dead pets. Finally, the stigma of getting a prenuptial agreement is fading, as protecting your wealth just seems to make sense. The wealthier couples get with age, the less taboo this becomes. And although it may seem unromantic, it really does seem to lead to couples staying together longer. Thanks for listening to Finances and Prenuptials. We know you chose to listen and we're grateful. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe for free in your favorite podcast provider. Share your favorite episode with the friends as well. Finally, consider leaving a review because it brings financial education to others and it helps people find us more easily. Please let us know what questions you'd like answered or any topics you'd like us to cover by going to the website at financesand.net and leaving us a message. You could also contact Capital Coaching for your personal financial needs at capitalcoaching.net. Finances and does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing in this podcast is to be construed as such. As always, consult a tax, accounting, or legal professional for advice on your specific situation. Remember, I went to school, so you don't have to.